This Day in Sports History. And welcome back to This Day in Sports History, a member of the Sports History Network, where you can find more great podcasts and info, and we've also got another giveaway going on. Darren Hayes, a member of the Sports History Network family as the host of Pigskin Dispatch, just released a new book. It's called Marooned: The Rise, the Fall, and the Redemption of the NFL's Pottsville Maroons, and it details the controversy around the team and the 1925 NFL season. Was that season's NFL championship stolen from Pottsville? Enter for your chance to win an autographed copy of the book. Just go to sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. It's May 20th, and on this day in 2000, Rasheed Wallace was tossed from a game for staring. So there are guys in the league that get reputations, and then those guys seem to draw even more attention from officials because of those past transgressions. Dennis Rodman comes to mind as a guy whose reputation for on and off-court incidents made him more of a target for whistles. Well, the basketball philosopher Rasheed Wallace was a bit like that as well, deserved or not. Rasheed was not a quiet guy and certainly liked to express his displeasure at bad calls on the floor. So this was Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the 3-seed Portland Trailblazers and the top-seeded LA Lakers at Staples Center. The game was tied after the first quarter, but the Lakers went on a little bit of a run to start the second quarter. LA's Robert Horry drove to the basket, he made a layup, and the whistle blew for a foul called on Rasheed. Wallace felt like the contact had been assumed, and he protested the phantom ghost call as he was replaced in the lineup. Sitting on the baseline a few minutes later, he continued to shout at referee Ron Gerritsen. And as he tended to do, he may have said a little bit too much, or he just said the wrong thing, and Gerritsen teed Sheed up as he was, sitting there on the bench. Well, move ahead to the third quarter. Wallace had the ball in the lane, and he felt like he deserved a call for contact on a shot he took, but he didn't get one. Well, LA called a timeout, and as the teams were drifting to the bench, Rasheed stared down Gerritsen. And then Gerritsen said, "Whack, get out."
Yep. Timeout LA. Whack, get out.
He didn't say nothing.
Get away from me, Steve. Get away from me, Steve.
Can I talk to you?
He didn't say a word. Technical foul, Wallace. He's gone. No, not right. I asked him 3 times to stop staring at me to try to intimidate me. I'm done. He's gone. I asked him. I told him. I have already told Mike twice before to have him stop staring to try to intimidate me.
Steve Smith is the Steve referenced in the audio, and he was trying to argue for his teammate. The Blazers lost their best scorer and their second best rebounder. And while there's a lot of stuff that went on prior to this, not just in this game but the regular season, there's no question that Wallace's reputation and Gerritsen's bias played a role in the ejection. Well, years later, Wallace shared his thoughts about the moment on a podcast, and he really felt like this was more than just home cooking. He felt like there was a conspiracy in place to prevent Portland from moving on to the finals. But there are a few things going on here. First, the ejection didn't really change the game. LA was up 21 at the point that he got tossed. Shaq was in the midst of having a monster night, which gets lost in talk about this game. The Diesel finished with a double-double of 41 points and 11 boards and set the obscure NBA record for free throw attempts in a quarter with 25. And if this had happened in the eventual Game 7, well, then I could understand Wallace's view of a skewed call to give an advantage to the Lakers a little bit more. But down 21 in Game 1, that conspiracy theory just doesn't seem to hold any water. This episode is brought to you by the Sterling Soap Company. Sterling Soap is 100% natural, and with a variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, cologne, and many more personal care products in a large variety of scents, you're sure to find something that's perfect for you or that special someone in your life. Check them out at sterlingsoap.com. It's been called the most dangerous 8 seconds in sports. And yeah, getting on the back of an 1,800-pound bull with ill intent is never going to be a safe place to be. Well, on this day in 1988, the legendary bull Red Rock was finally ridden for a full 8 seconds in competition. His humble beginnings did not portend that he would be one of the baddest bulls on the pro bull riding circuit. Orphaned as a calf, he was raised by a simple dairy cow on an Oregon farm. Though maybe having the number 007 branded on his hindquarters early on hinted at his license to thrill pedigree, he wasn't bred to be mean, and other than wanting to dislodge the annoying cowboy from his back, he wasn't a bull with malice. What bull riders who rode him swore, though, is that this bull had more brains than the average rodeo bull.
I was trying to figure him out at first. I got him figured out. Backfired on me. He started thinking about what I was going to do, and now he's messing with me a little.
Red Rock is just a smarter than average animal, and I'd like to think there's maybe a bull rider inside this bull, if you believe in reincarnation.
Red Rock was unrideable. Between 1984 and 1987, 309 attempts to successfully ride Red Rock in competition resulted in 309 bull riders getting thrown before the bell. Red Rock was the Rocky Marciano of bulls, retiring as an undefeated champion. Now, Lane Frost was a bull riding champion, taking the title as the top bull rider in 1987. He had been paired with Red Rock twice before in competition. He'd been bucked off in 2 seconds at the '85 finals and again in 1986. The two had a history, and Frost had a ton of respect for the bull. Well-known rodeo promoter John Groney came up with the idea to pair the best bull and the best bull rider for a showdown. Red Rock was brought out of the pasture back to the ring for a 7-event showcase called the Challenge of the Champions. Now, this wasn't all in one night, but over 7 different rodeo competitions on the West Coast over the course of several months. The first 2 events in April resulted in Red Rock tossing Frost in a couple of seconds, pushing Red Rock's record to 311 wins, 0 losses. Frost said it was the first time that he could ever remember a crowd pulling for the bull instead of the rider. Well, on this night in '88, it was the 3rd event in the series in Redding, California. In the month since their last meeting, Frost had pulled out the VCR and studied tape on Red Rock's moves and tendencies. He trained and worked out a strategy for this bull like Phil Jackson worked out the triangle offense to beat the Pistons back in the 90s. All the film study and prep paid off when Frost became the first rider to successfully ride Red Rock for 8 seconds.
It was like he just panicked. He jumped in the air and just shook like, what do I do now? And then just licked them back to left. I spin back to left. And I could tell. It just blew his mind.
Bull and rider would go head-to-head another 4 times, with Frost able to hang on long enough, 3 of those, to win the series 4-3. After the event, Red Rock went back into retirement, leaving one of the greatest legacies in the sport of rodeo.
Probably maybe one of the greatest animal athletes we've ever had.
Sadly, Frost was killed a year later in a bull riding event in Wyoming. After a successful ride against Taking Care of Business, Lane hopped off, but the bull unexpectedly turned on him, knocked Lane down, and put a horn into his back, putting its full weight on the rider. Frost attempted to get up, but collapsed and died in the arena in July of 1989. At the National Finals Rodeo later that year, a memorial was held for Frost, and Red Rock was brought to the arena that day to pay his respect to the fallen cowboy. On this day in 2002, a question started circulating. Was Kobe Bryant poisoned? So a little background first before we jump into the details here. This is the 2002 NBA playoffs, and Kobe's Los Angeles Lakers are squaring off with the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers took Game 1, 106-99 on the road at Arco Arena on the 18th. Game 2 was set for the 20th. The Lakers were staying at the Sacramento Hyatt, and the night before Game 2, Kobe was hungry and he called room service and he ordered a cheeseburger and a slice of cheesecake. Around 1 a.m., he woke up with, let's just say gastrointestinal distress. He was sick and in pain, curled up on his bed with stomach cramps between trips to the bathroom. He finally called the trainer Gary Vitti at 3 a.m. Vitti said that without a doubt he had food poisoning. All signs pointed to it. Kobe was drained of energy, but he was given intravenous fluids throughout the day. But unlike MJ's heroic flu game against Utah in the '97 finals when he scored 38, Kobe's performance was a little more in line with somebody who was energy depleted, finishing with 22 points on 43% shooting and turning the ball over 4 times. The fact that he was able to play at all is saying something, considering the state he had been in hours before. Well, after the game, rumors started to fly, questions asked, conspiracy theories feasting on the tiny morsels of information. Was Kobe intentionally food poisoned? A hotel spokesperson confirmed a cheeseburger and a slice of cheesecake had been delivered to Bryant's room the evening prior, but found it hard to believe it was the kitchen's fault. Kobe's incident was the only one reported. They had served 1,700 meals that evening, including 300 cheeseburgers, and nobody else got sick. Usually, if it's spoiled food, it will affect a number of people, not just one. So then, the rumor that it was the Black Hand of the New Jersey Mafia that had intentionally poisoned Kobe's beef. The reasoning? Well, the mob had big money riding on the New Jersey Nets winning the NBA championship that season, and they were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics at the time. Now, that theory seems a bit weak, considering the timing. I mean, why wouldn't they be sending cheeseburgers and cheesecake to Boston's Paul Pierce first to make sure the Nets got to the finals? Ooh, or did they? No, I'm just kidding. They did not. Who knows why Kobe was the only person affected? And just like Jordan supposedly getting food poisoning eating all the pizza back in '97 prior to his so-called flu game, this was an outlier. Anyway, the Lakers went on to win the series with Sacramento in 7 games, and then they swept the Nets to win the NBA title that season. Of course, before the Nets moved to New Jersey and eventually Brooklyn, they were the New York Nets in the ABA. Well, on this night in 1972, it was Game 6 of the ABA Finals between the Nets and the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers came into the game with a 3-2 series lead and a chance to close it out. Indiana erased a 12-point deficit to score the comeback win 108-105 and take their second ABA championship. Roger Brown had 32 in the win. The Pacers became the first ABA team to win a second title in the league. This was also the first time that 2 future NBA teams would meet in the ABA Finals. The only other time that happened was in '76 when the Nets beat the Denver Nuggets. Going from one Rebel League to another, also on this day in 1979, it was also Game 6 of the World Hockey Association Finals. Winnipeg beat Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers 7-3 to win the last Avco Cup. The following year, the NHL would absorb several of the WHA teams, including Edmonton and Winnipeg. The 18-year-old Gretzky had 43 goals and 61 assists as a rookie, but came up a little short in his first shot at a cup. Edmonton was a charter member of the WHA and became the only charter member that made it to the end of the league and never won an Avco trophy. And time now for today's That's Got Nothing to Do with Sports fun fact. Those familiar with the British monarchy will know that whenever the king or queen visits Parliament, a member of Parliament is ceremonially removed and taken to Buckingham Palace as a symbolic hostage. Well, that tradition goes back to the 17th century, when King Charles I feared for his safety when he went to Parliament. So he took an actual hostage from Parliament to the palace to ensure his safe return. Charles I had a pretty good reason to be unnerved. He was arrested and executed for high treason in 1649. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.